time, everybody. Welcome. Yoga X class. So ideally you've got a yoga block or a small foam roller, which you can use like as a block. You can do the whole practice without this. Dumbbell, kettlebell. Preferably 2 dumbbells that match, and 1 kettlebell. So let's start in Tadasana / the Amy Cuddy power pose. All right. I know I've made reference to this before, but it's a pretty cool TED talk that was put out several years ago by a Harvard psychologist, in which she tried to make the connection between, mental states and physical states, and used the power pose, some variation on Tadasana, to illustrate. So, the quick synopsis is basically, if it's 3 minutes before a job interview and you've got 2 options: sit in the corner of the waiting room, huddled over your phone, rounded, or just standing out in the hallway, upright, steady. In your sort of power position. Not rounded, not hunched. It subtly sends different messages to the mind by placing the body in this position. So for about 20 breaths, just be in this steady, upright, somehow not overworked, stance. The yogis call it a mountain. Also really liberate your breathing. And let's try 3-part breathing so it moves fluidly. There's no stop and go. But where you can really feel the segments. You feel breath inhabit the upper third, middle third, the bottom third. With this particular pranayama practice, you track breathing, pretty similar to the way I think air actually flows through your body. So it's not much of a stretch. But the inhale starts through the nasal cavity, upper, middle, fills the lower. The exhale is a little bit more theoretical. Empties from the lower, empties from the middle, finally empties the last little bit at the top, ready for inhale. So it actually works really well in terms of the breath meeting one another. The floor of the inhalation, the end of the inhalation, is where the exhalation begins. The top of the exhale, where the exhale ends, is kind of right where you're envisioning the inhale beginning. Last 5 rounds. Inhale, upper, middle, lower, even a sense that it drops into the pelvic floor. Exhale from lower to middle to upper. Last few. Last couple breaths here, everybody. All right. So from here, let's just go into some easy shoulder rolls. Forward, upward, backward, downward. Get all 4 of those movement patterns in. Okay, and then back the other way. Same 4 directions, just in reverse. All right. Next, take one arm. I'm starting with the right and just do some easy backstrokes / underhand pitches. Same arm, freestyle, overhand pitches. Or more like a tennis serve. All right, new arm, backstrokes / underhand pitches. And forward / overhand pitches. Tennis serves. All right. Double backstrokes. double forward. One forward, one back. One forward, one back. Keep the one going back, let the other one come forward at the same time. Switch. 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 Okay, then let the arms swing. They can cross as much as you're able to let them cross, and they can connect backward as much as you're able to take them backward. Oh man. Okay, and then let's pitch slightly forward at the hips. Decent amount forward. Put some pressure in your glutes and your hips, a little in your thighs, and then bring the hands together kind of right under the shoulders. One brief little look, one at a time. Add 4 different shapes. Number 1, take your arms back, kind of like you're a rocket ship. So your chin, your breastbone, your tailbone, both arms, all in a line. This would be a good place to like jump up from, which we're not going to do yet. And then back to center. Number 2, reach the arms out like wings. Chin in, ribs in, neutral back. Really reach through those arms. Squeeze through your upper back. Release. Number 3, reach out like a W, kind of a cactus-y shape. It can be a little wider like that. It's more W-ish. Maybe that's more like an L, a little kind of tighter angles. Either one's fine. Whew. My glutes are actually really cooking. And then release. And last one, number 4, 10 and 2 o'clock, out like a Y. Full flex. Like downward dog pose angle. One more time through all 4. Number 1, tight along your side. Active away from the ears. Strong through your triceps. Release. Number 2, out like a T. Open like a cross. Glutes are really cooking. This is such a good sequence, y'all. Back to neutral. Number 3, out like a W. Or maybe it's a little tighter, like more like an L. Some variation on that cactus pose, like a fly movement. And then lastly, whoo, up. Goodness. All right. And finally, release. Oh, man. All right, next, we're gonna do a couple roll downs with walkout. Okay, roll down with walkout. So, just as it sounds, you let your spine roll. Down. And then you let your hands walk out.
3, 4, 5.
And then put it in reverse. Hands walk. And roll up. One more. Roll down. Walk out. Walk backward. And roll up. Last one, we'll add a different angle. Reach up. Roll down. It's a little more complex. Walk out. And when you get to plank, we're going to keep the hands and shoulders fixed and walk the feet in. And then walk the feet back to plank. And last time, everybody, walk the feet all the way up to the hands. And one more time, everybody. Roll up. Sweet. All right. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach up both arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Walk out to plank. Rest on the belly. Lengthen your legs. Lift the chest and the head in your hands. And recreate the shoulder shapes. Letter I, tight along your mat. Letter T, out like 9 and 3. Letter W, open like a cactus. Straight ahead at 10 and 2. Back to along your side. Hands down. Shift to all fours. Dog pose. We're going to lift the right leg and just take it in little circles. And then little circles the opposite direction. Then you're going to bend your right knee and tap each elbow very softly. First the right one, and then the left one. And then we're going to step up the middle. Then we're going to let that back foot come next to the front foot. And inhale and reach out to the horizon. Exhale, hinge. Let's roll up again. Let's try again. Inhale, reach upward. Exhale, go ahead and roll or hinge downward. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, come downward. Walk out to plank. Come down and rest on the belly. Lift the chest and the head. And maybe steer the chest and the head a little bit right to left. Even let the head turn over a shoulder like you're peeking toward a heel. God, that feels good. Come back to center. All fours, a dog pose. Left leg goes up and back. First, some circles. And then some circles the opposite direction on the clock. 2 taps and a step. Please bend your knee. Like knee to like elbow, left to left. And then across, left to right. And then a step. And another step. Inhale, reach forward, Padagustasana. Exhale, hinge downward, Uttanasana. Hinge or roll up, either one, hinge or roll. Oh, goodness. That is nice, y'all. All right. Next. Yes. I'm going to move my mat back a little for this guy. Old school, everybody. Jumping jacks. All right? About 1 minute. Now, if you happen to have a jump rope nearby, I didn't bring the jump rope to the marina today. You could use that instead, but a little bit of like mild jumping. And it can be kind of modest, like these are right now. I'm not jumping real wide. I'm not jumping real high. I'm not even taking the arms really beyond 10 and 2, barely to that. But it could go a little further, or a little faster, or a little higher, or a little wider, or slow it down. Maybe you can just do one at a time. You probably could do 2, but maybe it's not best for your body. Last few. For most of us, it's great. Good. And release. And then just do some high knees. Big steps. All right. So after the high knees, y'all, we're gonna get a weight. If you've got a kettlebell, you can use that. And if you don't, you can just use a dumbbell. But you want to hold it like this. So if you got the dumbbell, maybe you're holding each bell and one on each hand. One dumbbell, but one side. Tuck the elbows in. The object you're holding is about at chest height, almost at the neck here, the top of the bell. You're holding it like a goblet. This is a pretty classic exercise. A goblet squat. So you come down and come up. Come down and up. Try to keep your elbows tight. The object close. The squat's as deep as you can manage. 10 more. Last 5. Last 3. Last 1. Awesome. So if you're with KettleBell, bam, bam. And you can do some variation on that with a dumbbell. It's just your wrist doesn't work as hard to have to balance the bell at the top. But that's fine. 5 per side. Lift, press. You just have to modify a little bit, depending on your equipment. Last one. Oh man, that's a challenging one. I haven't taught that one yet. So, new side. It's like a bicep curl and a press. We're trying to balance the weight. It obviously wants the tip. So your wrist and forearm have really got to work. Your grip strength is really improved. Last one. Oh my goodness. That is awesome. All right, everybody. Next. You might already have these in hand if you don't have a kettlebell, but now we've got the dumbbells officially. This is one we've done almost every time. Good one to get pretty comfortable with. Curl, rotate, press. That's it. Curl, rotate, press. And then you put it all in reverse. You do the rotate, and you do the extension. Really milk that extension. It's those arms back at the letter I again, but with some weight. Now to really strengthen this whole set, when you do the press up, try not to bend backward. Really be steady in that torso, with your glutes, and with your abdominals. Last couple. Last one. Next, deadlifts. It's really more of like a hip hamstring work. That's where a lot of the leverage comes from, but you are holding the weight, so there's a little work there. Feet face straight ahead or a tiny bit of turnout, but not a ton. Hip hinge, not a roll down. This is like the opposite of, there's basically 2 ways to move forward. You can roll down or you can hip hinge. This is the hip hinge, i.e. flat back. Also called the deadlift in weightlifting circles. The weights just go straight down, basically right along your legs. And you hip hinge as far as your hip hinge allows for. And then you come back up via the hip hinge, not rounding. So less hip hinge is fine, especially since you've got weight to deal with, but control it. Oh, goodness, last 2. Last 1. Oh, man. It's a good one. All right, next. Rows. So rows, we've got to bend over. So we've got like the right leverage to actually row from. So that make sense? So we could row from here, but it's not quite the same. So what we really want to do is hinge, the hip hinge again, and let the bells be out here and pull up toward the sky and a little bit backward toward your tail. 10. Really feel that upper back squeeze. 9. 8. 7. Last one. Oh, man. And release. All right. Just one weight for this one. This is a great exercise. I've taught this one a couple times on the X class. Brace your ribs. Squeeze your butt. Reach the weight forward and roll it away from your body. Roll it towards your body. Away, toward, and release. Oh my goodness. Oh. Awesome, y'all. Find I need more water breaks on this class. Okay. Next. You guys ready? Okay. 8-way crawl. 8-way crawl. So we're going to crawl belly down, like the more conventional version of crawling. Forward, backward, rightward, leftward. That's 4. Then we're going to get into the more crab shape, belly up. The yogis call that Purvottanasana. And we're going to go forward, backward, left, right. 8-way crawl. Let's go belly up first. So come to this shape. Come up and crawl. Okay, that's forward and back. And then try right and left. And give it one good squeeze at the top. And then transfer to belly down. Okay? That transfer could come any way you wanted it, of course, but eventually we want to be able to transfer from belly up to belly down, crawling, and kind of stay in the crawl. All right, so 4-way, belly down. Forward. Backward. Forward. Backward. Rightward. Leftward. Rightward. Leftward. All right. And then we're up. Oh, goodness. That one cooks too. Now, not that we crawl belly up a ton during our regular days, but yet somehow that's like a super functional movement. Anyway. Last set. This is the big one, y'all. So if you come to this class a couple times, You might have done this one once, possibly even twice. All right, I'm actually gonna probably be doing this almost every X class for a little while. Mountain, then back down. 10 reps, 20 reps, 30 reps, 40, 30, 20, 10. Yep, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay? So the 10 is burpees. The 20 is kettlebell swings. The 30 are mountain climbers. The 40 are squat jumps. And then you go back down. 30 mountain climbers, 20 kettlebell swings, 10 burpees. Gearing up. Y'all ready? Cool. Now, because this already has big jumps in it during the squat section and strong push-up action during the mountain climber section, feel free to keep your burpees as easy as possible. They're already demanding. So I'm going to just go over a 5-point burpee, and then if you want it jumpier, you can do that. All right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 30, 20, 10. And it starts with 10 burpees. Let's roll. Step, 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 stand. That's the basic. Now, you can alternate which leg steps back first, and likely, therefore, which leg steps forward first. So there I did the right. Here I'm doing the left. 5 more. I'm definitely more accustomed to doing the right, so I'm going to work on the left a little more. If you get through 10 in our allotted time and want to do bonus, fine. If not, you can just take a brief little break. Last one. Goodness. Next. 20 mountain climbers. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Part 3. 30 kettlebell swings. So we didn't actually do swings in the warm-up. I guess I'm kind of assuming you all know how to do the swing, but you're holding on with 2 hands, and it's mainly a hip thrust. And maybe a little bonus lift at the top, but it's not actually meant to be a wild arm thing like that. You can do it that way. I mean, it's I guess nothing wrong with it, but it's mainly that hip hinge with the weight just in your upper body, in your arms. 30 of these guys. Last 15. Okay. 40 jump squats. Goodness. This part really cooks. It all cooks. All right. Now, ultimately, you can play the squats any way you want. I mean, obviously, you could go to the fridge and grab a donut right now. You can do whatever you want. But if you want to stick with the movements and just tone it down a little bit, maybe don't jump. Maybe just jump a little. But I'd almost say, like, either just go for the jumping or not. And when you're out of gas, you just can't really work the jumps anymore. Just do the conventional. You're trying to jump every single time. 40 jumps in a row. Remember, we've still got to come back down the mountain. About 10 more jumps. Good Lord. "30 kettlebell swings. Sorry, y'all. 30 mountain climbers. Just, you know, if you're in beast mode, you can run the mountain climber instead of walking. Seeing if I can get my face as red as my shirt. Next, 20 kettlebell swings. Obviously, you can use your dumbbells for this if you're without a kettlebell. Ten burpees. It's almost over. And that does it. All right. I'm just loving that sequence. It's cool too that we can come back to it again and again, and you can kind of track your progress. Whether you're able to make it through all of it, when you have to take breaks, you know, which sections you have to modify. For me, it seems like it's mostly those squat jumps that are they're hard to rip out 40 in a row. But anyway, good stuff. Let's come down. That wasn't clear. Let's come belly down. You'll give your breath, your whole respiratory system, cardiovascular system, a minute to kind of recover. It's still feeling the effects. Mine certainly is. Just a couple more nice, deep, slow belly breaths here. And maybe the deep and slow is not quite there yet if your breath's still moving quickly. We're transitioning that way. Then, as you're ready, you can come up into a little more of a Sphinx pose. Flex one arm forward. Bend the opposite leg. So I got right arm forward, left leg bent. Catch hold. I can make a little pillow for the head. Or just let the head relax. Or even let it lift a little. Give your neck a little extension. That's fine too. Five more slow, deep breaths here. Okie dokie, Schmokies, let's release that side and switch. New arm forward. New arm backward. Oh, new leg bent. Ay, that feels good. Maybe head down. Maybe head supported. Maybe head lifted. Goodness. Last few slow, deep breaths here, everybody. Obviously, totally winding down. Oh man, that feels great. So from here, we're gonna flip onto our backside. Flip onto the backside. Let your arms find a nice comfortable shape out to your side. And then just briefly before we completely just, drift into the Shavasana experience, come back to the three-part breathing we opened our session with. So just a sense that inhales enter through the nasal cavity. They inhabit your upper torso. They continue to inhabit the upper, but then also the middle, and then the bottom. And then the exhale, the emptying, the release, you imagine you empty from the bottom, continue emptying the top, the middle, and then continuing emptying the top. Just try that about 5 times, y'all, then we'll just drift. 3-part breathing. It's actually called Vyaloma Pranayama. Then at some point, everybody just leave that pranayama practice behind. And simply let go everywhere. Letting the mind, everybody, be wide, wide open. Shavasana. Connect to your breathing sensations. just begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You might circle around at your ankles and your wrists. And you might even rock a little side to side. And then for our transition, we can just rock all the way to one side. I think we're certainly adaptable to get away with rolling to either side, but I don't know, a lot of my teachers would often cue rolling to the right side, keep the heart like kind of on the upper part of the torso, the way it's stacked, but it's all good either way. And then when you're ready, y'all, oh man, push on up to a seat. All right. Well, that felt really good. Hope you all feel like you got exercised and your yoga got, it's not better, it's not superior, it's just different. And the weight resistance stuff undeniably adds a layer of strength building, and then that fast stuff adds a layer of kind of cardiovascular work, but kind of with the same mindfulness and the same mind-body approach that we take to the whole yoga practice. So anyway, thank you everybody for coming and connecting over the interwebs. Namaste.